Is it recording?
It's recording.
Oh, this time.
It didn't happen.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion. It's a podcast that explores Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I'm the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jim Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship.
Who doesn't hit record all the time?
I do hit record all the time.
Sometimes you don't.
There's been a minimal time.
Yep. Actually, technically, I think it was once. And then there was another time you thought you didn't hit record. Or you did hit record, but it stopped.
Yeah.
And that might actually happen twice, I think. I think you hit record on two separate occasions on two different devices, and something happened, and it wound up stopping. I remember.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do remember,
Yeah, that wasn't you. That was not a fail. I mean, it was, but not a your fail. It was
Yeah,
a
cool,
tech fail.
thanks.
So I still got you.
Yeah, thanks.
Still got you. Hey, you know what? So, my son got COVID.
Yep.
Yeah, so Eli, and he just got a job, but he couldn't go to his job, and he couldn't go to school, and all the other kids had to stay home. He had tickets to like some hip hop concert in, I don't know what it was.
Where? At Soldier Field?
No, but he wanted to go to Donda, yeah.
I was like, wait.
One of our church members was there, yeah.
I was like, he went to Kanye?
Yeah, he would like to. He watched it live, though.
Oh, okay.
No, but he and his buddies had seats at a concert somewhere in Chicago, and it was going to be their first time driving into the city, doing a kind of like whole thing. And I did it at the same age,
Yeah.
Drove and saw Metallica back in the 80s. And but then he got COVID, he couldn't go, and he was just super bummed out. And so all the kids have been home. But yesterday, Eli's free now, and he's out of quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Family can come to church now and all that. So and the kids can go back to school. But so yesterday, Jen and I took the kids out for mini golf.
Oh, you just call it golf, though.
Yeah, it's just golf. I mean, at my size.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 18 holes, bro. I burned a lot of calories. 18 holes, that's legit. Mm-hmm. Most people only play 9.
Yeah.
They don't got time for all 18 holes.
Yeah. I love that your head went slid.
Yeah. Just saying, in case you don't know.
Yeah.
And so that's why we need a camera set up. So we went out, and like all the kids, and we all did our thing. And here's what I noticed. The I won't say who, but the one who was most awkward with the club did fairly well.
Yeah.
And that was Catherine.
Oh.
And the most responsible person there seemed to cheat a little bit. That was Jen. And then, of course, Eliza and I tied for first place because we're ballers and we're not playing games. We're just owning. We're dominating.
How did Bonger do?
Bonger did great. Yeah. How did you do in golf? You don't remember?
You don't remember? Was it that bad, bro?
Was it fun?
How bad was your dad? He was pretty horrible, right?
You were out there collecting golf balls out of the little lakes.
Nice. Well done. Good job.
He's like, so wait a minute, if I lose this, I have to pay $1? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's what they said. And he goes, what if I find others?
Do they pay me $1?
I don't know. Go do your thing. Collect some golf balls. So that was fun. It was nice to get out. And then we went and we had lunch at some different places because, we got a vegan and we got a picky guy.
You got a vegan and you got Bonger.
Yeah. A vegan and a Bonger. They're they're both difficult to get food for. What did you do this week? Did you do anything this weekend?
No. Well, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
UFC fight tonight.
Okay.
I got the Traeger going. I'm just checking.
You're good.
Just taking a look there. Got on Super Smoke.
Are we going to have like a get together?
You're always invited.
Okay,
it's fight night. Yeah,
sorry. So you and Greg have fun. Yeah, whatever.
First of all, I've not talked to him.
Oh, no, I know. You haven't got back to him yet, I'm sure. It's fine. You take his whole family with you on your the resort.
I didn't take them. Why
That's my favorite thing to say.
I know. Because you're implying something.
You bought them first class tickets.
I did not. Though, I forgot to tell you, on the way home.
Oh, did you get upgraded?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I gave it to Michelle.
Yeah.
And so we get there, we're going through, and I'm like, all right, kids, this is where we're going to leave mommy because she's better than us. Let's go to the back. And we start huffing. And the first class people were laughing and they're like, yeah, that's a good man right there. I was like, yeah, let's go. Let's go.
You know what? You have a good reputation with outsiders.
I do. I do. And Michelle got the stewardess to keep bringing me bourbon.
First of all,
from first class.
They're not called stewardesses, you misogynistic pig.
What are they called now? Travel assistants?
Flight attendants.
Travel assistants. It's like
servants. Are they called indentured servants?
Well, so anyways, the travel assistant kept bringing me my bourbon.
Nice.
And she was like, I'm not supposed to be doing this, but your wife is very adamant that you're sweet, and here you go. I was like, yeah,
that's right.
Kept bringing me bourbon.
Good, because flying. You know, it's funny. We have a church member who flies Spirit.
Why?
Because for some reason she's built up a lot of points and miles. So like she'll fly to California back for like $9. And
well, if it gets off the ground, if there's a return flight,
if it does get off the ground, there's going to be a 3-hour delay because some Karen is lighting a cigarette up on the plane. There's videos every week. There's new videos of Spirit Air, man.
Spirit is I don't understand.
I would rather pay $300 for a smooth flight. But yeah, listen, I know that's like all these incidents are up on every airline, basically. I mean, it's like, it's really, really crazy. People have lost their minds.
Oh, but see, no, never mind. Go ahead. I was going to tell you.
I did see somebody light a cigarette on a plane on video. They were like, I'm not getting off.
No, my gosh. That's crazy to me. No, to make sure that we're liked, because, you're going to have all these kids, right? And they're amped. Yeah. And like, to make sure we're liked, we always bring, or not always, but we'll bring $5 gift cards.
Yep.
For Starbucks.
Yep.
And just give them to the flight.
Yep.
That way as well, when I want something, I'm getting it.
Yeah. In fact,
for $15
on TikTok, all the flight attendants tell you that's a really good move because we will pay attention to you and take care of you.
Not only that, for $15, think of it. How much is one of the bourbons on there? 7, 10? For $15, I'm getting 3 or 4 for free. Right?
Yeah. From first class.
No, even on other flights. If I'm in the
just
back.
saying, like, but this last time.
Oh yeah.
Did they bring it to you in a glass or was it?
No. They gave me like the bottle. Like she had had the bottles.
Oh yeah,
and
just
thing.
slipping to you.
Yeah, she's like, here you go, shut up. She's like, don't tell nobody.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, listen. But I don't know if it was while you were gone or I think you were back. Were you back by the time Ed Litton did that interview?
I think so. I'm trying to think. Oh, when did I start tweeting it?
I don't remember. So
I think it was this week.
I know we keep talking about the Ed Litton thing, but he keeps talking about it too. So we keep talking about it. Ed Litton is the president of the Southern Baptist Convention, and if you listen to this podcast, you are probably already aware of some of the controversies. The main one that we've tended to focus on is that, and really the only one that we're really concerned with at this point, is that he really has. There really is a lot of evidence that he has plagiarized sermons. This doesn't mean that every word that he spoke in that sermon was somebody else's, but it does mean that so much significant material was verbatim taken from somebody else that it does constitute plagiarism, and that it happened a lot. And so,
and there was a culture built there. By that, but even some people
encouraged.
Yeah, it was encouraged. I mean, there's people that are part of the preaching team that are also
doing the same
thing, right?
And so, okay. So, and as you know, like we were trying to work out an opportunity to get Litton on the podcast.
Well, he had expressed a willingness and an interest in coming on.
Or his team had expressed or something, but yeah.
No, he did.
Well,
initially he did at first.
Not to us.
Through an intermediate.
Yeah, so that's what I mean is I don't know if it was technically him.
No, it was him.
Okay.
Say directly to an individual.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to recall that conversation that we had.
Yeah.
But I like to be extra careful. But at any rate,
unless the other person's lying to me.
No. I definitely know that's not the case.
Yeah.
But there was talk about having Litton on the podcast to talk about all this. This was when it was very early, and then that seems to not be happening. Probably, I can't help but think it's probably because we've landed where we've landed.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to go on a podcast that's going to ask me hard questions if I didn't want to deal with those questions.
Yeah, so I'd rather just go on, SBC Voices where they're...
No, what's it
called?
SBC
Today?
SBC This Week or something like
Whatever
that.
it is.
Jonathan Howell.
Jonathan Howell. Yeah, I'd rather go where I'm going to get soft pitches.
Yeah. There's basically, he's gone on to 2 podcasts now, and in each case, there is a connection to SBC institutions.
Big Eva.
Yeah. So the most recent one is he actually went on a podcast with a good friend of ours, Matt Hensley.
Yep.
Let me just say this. Matt Hensley, he's the man. Good man, godly man.
Great man.
Long beard.
Yep.
But he's a ginger. So he does have he has a strike. Well, that technically counts as 2 strikes.
Well, I think he cut his beard.
No. I mean, unless it was very recent.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up.
I just saw him.
Oh, then never mind.
But he, so he's a good guy, and he and this guy, Kyle Buermani, I can't pronounce his name, Kyle Buerman is I'm guessing. But anyways, they have a podcast called Not Another Baptist Podcast. And they actually had a chance to interview Ed Litton, which is cool. Now, listen, if you don't know, Matt Hensley is the guy heading up the Pastors Conference for the Southern Baptist Convention next year in California, which I will be at. So I'm looking forward to that. And I haven't gone in I've never gone to the Pastors Conference because they usually have some horrible.
Yeah, I'm really excited for
Hensley
for what Hensley's put together. He
ain't playing. He's not going to have James McDonald come.
Nope. He's going to have real pastors that are doing the real work.
You know what? I would get more out of Ted Lasso easily
than James
McDonald's sermons. Okay. So anyways, in this interview at the 12-minute mark, 12:30, Ed addresses the plagiarism stuff again. Mm-hmm. We could have set it up to play for you, but you can just check it out. We'll link to it in the show notes. Mm-hmm. So Ed said some things. And one of the things he says early on is that he can say, hey, listen, I know that people are concerned about what they're hearing or what we're hearing. Mm-hmm. And when he says this, the implication is they're not concerned with what they've heard me say. They're concerned about what they're hearing from various publications out there. And yes, that is a part of it. A lot of people are concerned that they've heard these things. Some people in our church were concerned about what they'd heard. They hadn't heard Ed. Mm-hmm. But there are a whole lot of us that are very concerned about the sermons that we've listened to that you yourself have preached. So, okay, that's fine. It's not everything, but it's the whole thing. And he basically says, hey, listen, I asked JD for his Romans outline. JD gave me permission to use any material I wanted. He's like, yeah, here's my sheets. Here's how I do, but you can use anything. And Ed's like, yeah. So I listened to JD's sermons and I used his notes and his outlines. And then he says, I also resourced his material after I did all the Greek work and commentary work, and all of that. And so he says in a couple of places I shared the same outline. And in some places I used a lot of his phrases. So maybe that's a place to kind of pause. From your perspective, Jimmy, when you, having watched a number of these videos, we've talked about it quite a bit. How is this landing with you as you listened to that interview and Ed was making some of these statements? What were you thinking? Were you feeling like, okay, he's giving more clarity here, or is he giving more confusion?
Well, I think he's giving more confusion, and I think here's the thing. There is clarity here. Here's the clarity: is that he did something wrong and he knows he did something wrong. But what's confusing is he won't admit he did something wrong because he says, God, he says it wasn't, it wasn't a sin, or it wasn't, okay, by his words, it should have been clarity. He should have repented. Well, because he even says things like, I shared the same outline. I did not, I used a lot of his phrases. I mean, you took someone else's material and presented it as your own, and you're validating that. That's the clarity he's giving. It's not like, he's not saying, because I think at the beginning, there was a sense of like, it was, kind of sometimes this happened.
Yeah, you get the impression that this was not...
like it was a one-off, two-off maybe. This is fairly consistent.
Yeah.
And it's not only JD, but also...
he completely took a whole Tim Keller sermon that we know of.
But what's confusing in this is... he's stating things that are like any other I shouldn't say any other person. I would look at, if I said it, I would repent and say sorry. He's not doing that.
Well, but he does do that. He does say that he is sorry. He does say that he has been forgiven by God in this interview.
But he also says, I didn't do anything wrong.
I didn't hear him say I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, he says permission is not plagiarism.
Okay, yeah. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So let's just stay on topic with this part.
All right.
As he explained these things, what is your problem? Because I have problems with this. I'm assuming you do. What is your problem with him saying, in a couple of places we shared the same outline, and in some places I used a lot of his phrases?
Well,
because you were hitting on this. I just want you to make it a clear.
Well, no, it was obvious that he was reading it. Like, it was obvious that it wasn't just he shared the same outline, but he was using the same illustrations. Mm-hmm. He was using the same words.
And no, this doesn't mean throughout the entire sermon and all. That's what we're saying.
In sections there,
Yeah.
and even the same mannerisms and pauses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I absolutely. And I like that you were saying, like, listen, the way that this is set up is it's very much like, yeah, I did this and this isn't wrong. I mean, that's the implication that comes across, at least to us as we're listeing to it. Oh, I shared some outline. I used a lot of his phrases.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna jump ahead to something else he said. Go ahead.
Let's just go to what you said when he said, listen, I got permission, so it's not plagiarism. I'm sorry, guys, but I try to be really patient with Christians and with people. And I honestly, by the grace of God, I think in general, I actually am, but I'm not patient with pastors. Or at least I'm less patient with pastors because I do expect them to know what they're talking about.
Higher standard. Yep.
Just, no, they're held to the same standard, but I'm
just
more
a higher
patient,
standard.
but they're supposed to be living up to that standard. So it's like, how is it that you don't know what plagiarism is?
Yeah.
Having gone to school, you know what I mean? I know one of his degrees is in acting or whatever, but the point is like you've got to have experience enough to know what plagiarism is. So I struggle with the idea that you say, oh, well, since I got permission, it's not plagiarism. When you're passing off content to people as if it is yours, is plagiarism. It doesn't matter whether you have permission or not. So I struggle with that so much, and I find that to be not owning what you did. In fact, and this is the thing that really bothered me about it. He says, so I got permission, so it wasn't plagiarism. However, I didn't cite him as a source. But then he says, but I didn't cite the commentaries that I used either, which is, I don't know. I'm trying to think there's a word for it, but like those are two opposite things. They're not the same at all. You don't have to cite all of the sources that you use in your sermon unless you are quoting them. If you're quoting them, you go, hey, Charles Spurgeon said.
Yep.
That's how you do it. J.D. Greer said it this way. It was really good. Or J.D. Greer said it this way and it wasn't good. Like whatever. Like but you got to give credit when you're quoting, when you're pulling. Now, if somebody were to say like, well, is he supposed to, if he uses the outline of a commentary for breaking down a passage, I don't know why you would, because when I break down a passage, even if I find that the way I break it down and the way the commentary breaks it down are the same, my wording of the breakdown is my own. Listen, I haven't been preaching forever, but I've been preaching for a long time.
No, but I mean, there has been times for me where I see an outline and I'm like, that's really helpful. Yeah. And I'll say like, hey, Kistemacher breaks it down like this. And I think it's useful for us for this sermon.
Right. And usually I think that falls into like a pocket of the sermon.
Yes.
Or sometimes it's a super broad thing, right? That kind of encompasses the whole. But in most of my cases, when something like that happens, it's like, oh, I really like it. So I was just teaching, I don't know, on something and I go, hey, you know what? Because I would not have come up with this. I didn't see it. He appeals to Ruth in this thing. And I was like, holy cow, it blew my mind. And so I said, hey, man, Hendrickson says this in his commentary. I thought it was really good. So, all right, you wanted to get ahead to something.
No. Just that part about he says I didn't cite the commentaries either.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that to me, the way he worded it. If you listen to it, we should have had it queued up. But as you listen to it, and again, you could say I'm being uncharitable. You could say I'm inferring, but he threw it as like a little smart alecky comment. Do you know what I mean?
No, it came off that way.
It came off like, well, I didn't cite commentaries either, guys. Yeah. So you're trying to equate the two when they're different.
Yeah.
They're different, Ed. And I think by your position, and even continuing on, you're saying things like, I apologize to my people. Well, you're talking about you didn't do anything wrong. Permission's not plagiarism. Why'd you have to apologize?
Yeah, that would be a follow-up question. So I apologize. So what specifically did you apologize for? If you had permission and it wasn't plagiarism, then...
And you did nothing wrong.
So I don't know if he's never said I didn't do anything wrong. He's never said that. He's saying I haven't plagiarized.
Okay.
He says the Lord has forgiven me. So clearly he knows on some level, or at least hopefully he recognizes on some level he's done something wrong. But I would want to know, like, for what did you apologize? I mean, he says, I want to correct this. We're working to correct this. We're taking this seriously. Okay, so in what way? What does that mean? Because, listen, this whole thing listen, I don't have a problem with even a preaching team. A team of guys getting together to study together and to work on stuff. If they're all, like, good, godly people that understand the word, then there's no harm, no foul. In putting the sermon together, like you can do all of that. That's not the thing. for me, the trouble is that you can say you're doing all the work, man, but when 25%, 30% of your sermon is ripped off from somebody else, and you know what? Even when you say it's like 30%, it's the most important stuff. Like it's the big stuff. It's the big outline. It's the whole thing, and you're just kind of like, I don't. I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with this a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same position, Joe. I really, well, I mean, we've talked about it multiple times. I feel like he should be stepping down as SBC president.
And a lot of people have asked, like, well, he's not the SBC preacher. He's not the SBC pastor. Why can't he stay as SBC president? What would you say? Because I know what I would say.
Yeah, I'd say this is a distraction, an unnecessary distraction. And I do think your credibility has been tarnished. And when we've got issues of critical race theory, we've got some division, we've got
Biden.
But like you look at what's going on within the SBC, and even still abuse of pastors, and you're talking about sexual abuse cover-ups.
Yeah.
Like these are things that we need to be working on, and you are a distraction. Your credibility has been lost.
Yeah.
We need someone else to lead us in that, because right now, in my estimation, you have not been trusted with little. Like you had an opportunity here to really like repent, move forward, and just the way he's treating this like it's nothing and that it's not a big deal. But even though he says we're serious, now he's saying it.
Yeah.
But you've been silent. You've been waiting for the news cycle to pass. Like there are other things that I'm like, if you're not able to get this, the idea that permission is not plagiarism.
Yeah.
And you took down all your sermons. You guys you went into turtle mode, right? To protect yourself.
Yeah.
You circled the wagons. What are you going to do then with something else like a sexual abuse?
Yeah. If this is hard
and you're botching this,
I wouldn't have said it any different. I agree with you.
It's like Biden can't walk up the stairs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yet look what happened in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
See, he couldn't do the little thing like walk.
Well, just let him take a nap while he's answering questions, okay? Just let Biden take a
He
little...
looked horrible.
I know. Listen, as a human being, I feel bad for the guy.
I feel bad
He should
for
not
him.
be in that position.
And like he says things like,
who-
I've been instructed to call on a few people, and he's got it's like, who's
yeah, man.
who's
Who's
pulling this dude's strings?
Yeah, he's got Trump level approval ratings right now. So,
dude, this is like the man. Listen, I'll take Trump level approval ratings with gas at $2.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Give me some mean tweets.
So I think we're not trying to beat the dead horse, and we're certainly not going after Ed. But listen, we were moving on, and then he does an interview, so like we're going to talk about it again, right?
Yeah.
It's like if something comes up and it's time.
Well, I
to
don't know
talk
if I was
about it,
moving on. Well, the podcast, yes,
yeah. Doesn't mean like if something comes up, then yeah, we'll talk about it.
Now, from our understanding, there's supposed to be someone from Ed's camp was supposed to be reaching out to come on.
Not to come on, but to talk.
But not on air?
No.
That's weird. Why would you want to talk and why wouldn't you make it public?
I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody.
That's a really weird thing. That to me then shows, you're afraid.
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
It is really weird. Like what was the mentality there? Like all of a sudden, like, oh, if I have a private conversation with them, then they'll go on air and say,
well, I wouldn't want to assume what their thinking is.
I'm going to assume all day.
But I think they could. Somebody might say like, hey, listen, I think that they don't know all that we're trying to do behind the scenes, and so I want them to know what we're doing, and maybe they would be happy to know that we're actually addressing this issue,
which is fine. Okay,
not publicly though, which is part of my problem.
But that's the thing. There, it's like if that's the case, let's go with that. We've said what we've said.
Oh yeah,
and I'm assuming they would hope that I couldn't go back on air then and say, well, we've had a private conversation. I feel better about this, but I can't share with you why.
Oh, listen,
like that. That's
I'll tell
so
you right
weird.
Now, if I talk to anybody, I'm going to talk about it on air.
Yeah.
Like if we have a conversation, then we were going to share what's said.
Exactly.
So and we just listen. This whole idea of we're taking this seriously. We want to correct this. when Ed says that, you have to recognize that there are thousands of members of the convention that want you to talk about this openly and honestly, and it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of openness and transparency. We don't know what's happening because it looks like ain't nothing to see here. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
All right, so we need to address that, and of course,
do we want to keep going on this?
we have to talk about Nirvana Baby.
Are we doing Nirvana Baby?
Let's talk about Nirvana Baby. You called me. You're like, "Did you hear about Nirvana Baby?"
And so you went to CNN.
Well, there's a bunch of them, but like everything's behind a paywall, so I just needed.
Well, no,
quotes.
Fox News is free, but continue.
Okay, yeah, well, no better than CNN. Fox News is
fair and balanced.
Yeah, Fox News is awful. CNN is awful.
No, well, hold on. Fox News channel.
Yeah,
but Fox News internet's different.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
but this guy Spencer Eldon, if you don't know, you probably were raised in a Christian bubble. But Spencer Eldon was the baby in 1991 that is on the cover of Nirvana's Nevermind album. Naked baby in the pool, swimming. There's a dollar bill photoshopped into the picture.
Yep.
Famous cover, and this guy is suing the band because of child sexual exploitation.
And I mean, didn't he also just try to recreate it though?
Oh yeah, he did. Yep.
For the anniversary?
He has recreated the photo. So let me just read a section here. The rock album's cover features Eldon, then an infant swimming underwater while undressed, his eyes fixated on a $1 bill. It became one of the most enduring images in rock music after the record's release. But in a complaint filed on Tuesday at a federal court in California, Eldon's attorney said the image was pornographic and that he has suffered lifelong damages as a result of his involvement. Later, it says the lawsuit alleges Eldon was sexualized because the dollar bill used in the image made the baby resemble a sex worker.
Sometimes people just want to get that money.
The reason I thought it would be good just to mention this, because we're just talking anyways, we're just catching up on stuff, is because we take sexual abuse very seriously, sexual exploitation very seriously. Any form of abuse really troubles me, but the idea that a photograph of a baby naked in a pool is somehow child pornography is not only misguided, I think it means that you have sexualized babies. Like, it's like, why would a baby in a bathtub or a swimming pool, it doesn't matter who sees it, there's no sexual context. But the thing is
it's a money grab. Here's the thing. Here's the part that frustrates me about this is, I mean, I'm going to word it like this, and maybe it's not the best way to frame it, but if everything's sexual exploitation, then nothing is.
Right.
And there are real instances out there.
Yes.
It's like, how dare you try to capitalize on that for your own financial gain when there are real victims that are fighting for justice.
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that frustrates me, is when you've got things like this, when there's real issues out there and real victims that need real justice.
Yep.
And now we're talking about the Nirvana baby.
Man, you got a problem, go talk to your parents. Like,
yeah, they made the $200 off.
Yeah. So like, listen, and I go, it can be embarrassing. We've all got embarrassing things. And listen,
I got a photo of my kid's bum in our bathroom.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. There's two butts. Yes, there's two.
Yeah, actually, so at the new house.
Yeah.
We took that photo down. They all were like, we're packing it, and Cohen's like, it's not going up. And
yeah, see?
He was like, I was like,
mm-hmm.
Oh, if Michelle felt so bad.
Yeah, Nirvana baby.
Nirvana baby, he's going to sue me. So yeah.
But look, man, okay, listen, I don't think anything was done wrong here. Okay. But it doesn't mean that you haven't suffered, but nobody's done anything illegal. I don't think anything is, you might have things to work through, but all right. Do we have time for that short email?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's do this one.
All right. COVID fears. This is from a guy named Andrew who said, Hey guys. Longtime listener, and I love the show. You both have taught me lots about theology and being a husband and a father.
Bam.
I'm currently on a 9-day of being home with COVID and am coming face to face with the fact that I have tremendous anxiety surrounding my health. I have always become anxious with health issues, but this time it's intense and I know it's not living according to faith or trust in God. Love to hear your advice or encouragement and would appreciate your prayers. Thanks for all you do. Jimmy, what might we say to people who are sick and are fearful and are struggling with, wow, is my fear and my suffering here an example of weak faith, or how
I
should we
don't
respond?
see it as an example of weak faith. I think it's natural. I think it's natural in the midst of things because you're experiencing something you've never experienced before. And for some people, it has been a severe experience. And because of how the media has played this, there's been a lot of just like fear surrounding it and uncertainty. And when people don't know, of course they're going to be anxious about it.
Right.
So I'd feel anxious too. I'd feel anxious of what's going to happen. Am I going to be okay? Like my health is not the best, obviously.
Dude, that first week, I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, I could die.
Yeah.
Because it feels really bad.
Yeah. Like, for some others, it's
nothing.
It's nothing. Now, I have no idea if I'm asymptomatic. I have no idea if I've ever had it. I guess I can go get a test. I mean, because I'm pretty shocked that I've never had COVID. I'm kind of shocked by that. For as much as I travel,
you travel a lot, and you're around people that have had it. Yeah. You run a company that has a ton of people in the building.
Ton of people there, yeah. But I mean, I'm on planes.
But the masks stop all the virus, so that's why.
The virus
can't. Virus can get.
I mean, how many times have we gone to Vegas? And even the last time was mask off, and I had no apprehension.
Because I suck all of the COVID in.
But even like
I'm like your COVID Roomba. I take, if I'm with you, I take it. That way you don't have to get it.
Yeah, I mean, but but then even like Florida.
Yeah, COVID Roomba was pretty good. But
it was all right. It was all right. Cool.
So yeah, let's just agree together here, brother. We listen. Pray it up. You're suffering. You're scared. That's normal, just like Jimmy said. And so, what do? We cry out to God for support, for help, to give us peace in the midst of panic, right?
Yeah.
And he can do that. Maybe it doesn't happen right away, but it does. I think that if you know that you're in a place where your faith is weak, in other words, if you're saying like, well, I don't trust God, then if you're drawing that conclusion, I should say, if you're drawing that conclusion, then be more specific. What are you not trusting God with? Because you can say, well, I'm not trusting God to heal me. Well, that's okay, because God hasn't promised to heal you in this life. He's promised to heal you in the reresurrection.
Yep.
But you might not get healed. So that's not a lack of faith. Right? You're saying like, well, I don't know if I can persevere. I don't know if I can, hold on to, I don't know if I can continue to trust God that he's good. Like, okay, well, now we're talking about a struggle of faith and some weakness here. So what do? Well, you go to the Lord like the psalmists do, and you cry out and you ask God to help you to see, help you to understand, like, why are you allowing this to happen to me? Those are good questions to ask. The main thing is like when you have questions and doubts, bring them to God. Bring them to his word. Don't just sit there with them by yourself and try to figure it out, because that's where you're going to get into trouble.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well said, man.
So, all right, we're back. Normal schedule. Well, we've been on a normal schedule, but recording schedule is back to normal. So
back
now we
kind
of know what we're doing a little bit. Almost.
Nearly.
Relatively.
So when's the SBC going to kick us out?
There's the only time that they ever do that, we would have to ordain a woman as a pastor. Then somebody could make a motion, or somebody might credential.
So like Saddleback?
Yep. Or we would have to admit practicing homosexuals as members. We have to do something like that. No, they're not gonna kick us out. Listen, man, SBC likes us. We don't get hate from the SBC.
That's true.
Yeah,
right.
We get hate from some SBCers.
Yeah.
But our state convention has always been very supportive.
Yep.
Very cool. NAM loves us. North American Mission Board. No, having any issues there. So yeah, I think we're good. And if not, bye.
Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can follow us online on Instagram and Twitter @DocandDevo, or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, drdevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast of the store, jofostore.com, and grab some gear. We got that fresh pod every Monday and Thursday. We got blog posts and video content over at the website. We got that all-access exclusive content, the Banter Truth on Tuesdays, Weekday Wisdom, Monday through Friday. Head on over to drdevotion.com /all-access to sign up today. Bye!